Hi everyone, how you doing? Okay, it's Saturday morning again, and as we all know what happens on a Saturday morning, the Jehovah Witnesses will be out in their droves. So I'm now going to bring up the subject, if I can, about shunning with them. Okay, let's just see how this goes. See you in a bit. Right. Morning.
Oh yeah.
How you doing, alright?
Yeah.
How are you both?
Thanks. Yeah.
So what's your name then?
Roger.
Oh, Roger. Are you Roger the Lodger?
Yeah. Or Dodger, whatever you like.
I'm Pete.
That's Pete.
Right, Pete. Nice to meet you, Pete.
Pete.
So how long have you been Jehovah Witnesses for? Oh, quite a long time then.
Long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your whole family in the Jehovah Witnesses?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Family's in
Okay, and
Yeah.
yours, Pete, as well?
Yeah, it's my dad.
Oh, apologies. I mean, I'm not to know. I'm not to know, you see.
Yeah.
Can I offer you guys a drink?
I'm
we're-
okay.
we're
We just
good. We
literally had a
just
cup of tea.
And somebody else is coming along in a minute to relieve us, so
Okay,
we'll be on our way. But it's
Okay.
very kind of you.
okay, you're welcome. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
it's very nice.
Okay, I hope it's okay, all right?
Yeah.
But I've got a few questions to ask you, because they're quite sort of serious questions, if it's okay. I mean, I'm going to assume that you're going to be here to sort of answer all questions.
Well,
Yeah, well,
to the
our
best of our
colleagues,
ability.
okay.
will in a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have been doing a little bit of research on your
Uh-huh.
organisation over the years,
Oh, yeah.
and a few things have come to my mind. Well, come to me, right?
Obviously.
I've been discovering some sort of quite ugly things.
Oh, right.
Okay, I'm sorry about this,
No,
but
no.
I'm going to bring it up with you now, and I'm going to
Yeah.
sort of ask you the question. Okay. Apparently, within Watchtower, all right, within the organisation, you practice a thing called shunning.
Shunning.
Yeah. Can you enlighten me on that?
I've not heard the term shunning. We have a
No.
practice called disfellowshipping,
Okay.
which is where if a member is performing actions that are immoral
Yes.
or against Bible teachings,
Yes.
and they proliferate that within the congregation, then we practice an act of disfellowshipping. So,
Okay.
So publicly they're no longer known as a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay. And how would you treat that person?
Well, Bible scripture, as we read it, says that we're not to associate with such persons.
Okay.
So we wouldn't greet them. They're still permitted to come to our hall.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they have family members at the hall, then necessary family business can still take place.
Sure.
So it's a matter of the association that they would have enjoyed amongst fellow believers stops.
Gotcha.
So that because they only get disfellowshipped if they're multiply unrepentant. So one-time action, they're sorry for action. We're all imperfect. We make mistakes, obviously. No organisation is fully perfect.
No.
But if they carry on doing that action, then they have to be removed or stopped from associating with others in the congregation.
I have heard of quite a few stories, okay, whereas like there's actually people in the organisation and they want to leave. They just, they want to leave for some whatever reason, but they sort of feel obligated to stay because they feel that if they leave, it's more easier said than done, because like they might, like in your situation, they've got family and they're going to be like ostracised, and all kinds of things like this.
Well, I can only give the example.
I mean, like I'm sort of thinking. I mean, I know this is maybe a bit extreme, but supposing someone within your organisation, say there was a family group, and they said, you know what, I can't really agree with this teaching no more. I think I would like to go to my local church or whatever. And supposing that they were in a big family or maybe a family or whatever, they might feel, well, I can't because it's going to be easier said than done.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, okay, let's say, I mean, how many people are in your family?
I got 2 sisters, older
Yeah.
sisters,
Yeah,
and an older brother,
yeah,
and then all their children.
yeah.
My brother's got 8 children.
Okay. Are they all Jehovah Witnesses?
No.
No.
All right. Well, in many cases, there are big families like that, Jehovah
Yeah.
Witnesses. Okay.
Yeah.
Supposing one of them decided they wanted to go off to church,
Then that's their free choice.
how would you treat them? Do you think that they would find it very hard?
I think it would make,
I think
obviously,
themselves would probably, I don't know, maybe for the conscience, they would probably put, but the family certainly wouldn't ostracise them. That'd be their
No.
choice.
Yeah.
Because they're still your family, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Sure.
And you love them dearly, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
well, in my family,
Yeah.
we certainly wouldn't ostracise anyone
Yeah.
if they decide. That was the. I remember I've got sisters. They belong to various. But they're still my family, and I certainly don't.
So, would you say it's easy for someone to leave the organisation if they chose to? You know, without like a stigma. You know, supposing someone's.
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, like if
say
someone
so.
said, you know, I choose to leave now, would they be classed as, you know, because I've heard stories that even though they might not have done anything wrong, you know, they might have been completely
Just,
good.
"Oh, this is not for me."
Yeah,
But
but when they
two-
leave, they you know they leave and so forth. They get classed as disfellowshipped.
well, there's two versions that you'll talk about.
Oh, okay.
Let's take my older sister, for example.
Yeah.
She was disfellowshipped for...
Oh, all right, yeah,
All right,
okay.
personal thing. But
Okay,
she was
you don't need to go into
disfellowshipped
that.
for moral problems.
Yeah.
But then, for a short period of time, she decided with her husband to come back, not in our congregation, but further away.
Yeah.
Then she wrote a letter to say, I don't want to know anymore, I'm not interested. 22 years later,
Yeah.
that she decided, actually, she's changed her
I'll
mind
do.
and she chose to come back and study again.
Of her own
But-
free will.
of
Yeah.
her own
Yeah,
free
yeah.
will. But during that time, because she was disfellowship, we couldn't talk to her about spiritual matters.
Okay.
If there were family matters like funerals, weddings, etc., then
Obviously,
association
she's
was
still
there.
part of your family.
Gotcha.
Did not
Yeah.
ostracised.
No.
Alternatively, my brother, he decided when he was a teenager he didn't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore and just walked away.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we didn't see him.
No.
He rode a bike off to wherever and we didn't see him for, I don't know, 10 years. But when he came back to the area, we still had association with him because he wasn't disfellowshipped.
Right.
So he's what they call disassociated.
Disassociated. Okay.
So he's decided it's not for me, I'm walking away. But the family connections still remain.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be times of awkwardness, like for example, this time of year is family time, others are celebrating Christmas. He might decide, I want to celebrate Christmas. We wouldn't have been able to join him in that celebration. So that would have made him feel awkward, and us, likewise.
So how would you actually treat someone who's disfellowshipped then?
Well,
I mean-
if we knew they were disfellowshipped, we would avoid them.
Just to put your mind at ease, I've never been a Jehovah Witness. Okay.
Right, that's
So-
okay.
No.
I'm very familiar with your beliefs.
Yeah.
I've actually studied in the past,
Oh God.
so I do know about your beliefs.
Yeah, it's good.
In case you're thinking I'm disfellowshipped, I'm not. Okay.
No.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, there's one, say girl, I knew her as a girl, but
Yeah.
a woman in our hall at the moment, she's disfellowship.
Yeah.
It goes as far as saying hello and opening the door for her and letting her in, but she sits at the back, she's got her children, the children still associate freely with the congregation, but no one speaks to her, apart from the elders who try and encourage her along her way. After a period of time, if she stops doing the immoral things that she was doing according to the Bible, then she'll be welcome back in the congregation. Or if she chooses to leave, she's free to do that. But then that communication with the congregation would stop.
But the idea is to keep the congregation clean, if you like, to avoid any immoral things going on or any controversy like that. Because, like any organisation, you will get tired, tired of the same brush and all that. They do this, don't they? So we try to keep it clean and all about rather than...
I have heard about, a lot of people who have discovered a lot of things about Watchtower, things like a lot of inconsistencies.
Oh, right.
And they've presented it to the elders.
Oh, right.
I'm just using this as a wild example.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, to cut the story short, they're classed as disfellowshipped and apostates.
Oh, right.
And, they're to be avoided at all costs.
Yeah.
But, the thing is that there's a whole load of these people out there.
Yeah.
And it seems
And
like
some do
their
spread
arguments seem
some,
very, very good.
Yeah, some do spread some, like you say, rumours.
Yeah.
And it can be very believable if they know they do this or they do that or they don't do this. And they can be very persuasive.
There was, I
even
don't know if you ever heard of him, there was a governing body member.
Uh-huh.
His name was Raymond Franz. Have you ever heard of him?
Friends. I'm trying to rack my brains of previous history. I've heard the name Franz.
He was Freddie's brother.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry, no, he was related to Freddie.
Right.
And he wrote this book. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Oh, right. No. Right.
He actually left. He discovered a lot of things about the organisation.
Right.
And he left. But he was disfellowshipped.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But that sort of bothers me as well. That.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
Well, obviously, if you have an organisation that's trying to adhere to Bible standards and what says in Scriptures, no organisation can tell you this is what I believe, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You have to research it yourself and look in the Bible. See, obviously we talk to people day by day on the doors and that.
Yeah.
But
if you don't mind, are you still doing that? I don't seem to see you around the estates now.
Yeah,
I don't see you hardly. I only ever see you here.
Yeah.
Well, we're here every Saturday, not us personally.
No.
Roll over, but the door-to-door work's still very much taking place. Yeah.
But I think the problem is most people are not at home anymore.
No, they're always
they're
all
either
down
in
here.
the shops or they're here. So that's what we could try to talk to people informally.
Yeah.
But if I gave you a magazine and I said, right, this is our Watchtower magazine, it's based on Scripture, blah, blah, I wouldn't expect you to read each paragraph and take it as read in those paragraphs.
Do your
because
research.
Over the years there has been, I suppose if you like, enlightenment or new understandings of Scriptures, because back in the previous century when our organisation was early in this modern age, there was a lot of misconceptions. There was different ideas of, for example, who goes to heaven back in the day. Back in the 50s, before we still celebrated Christmas, still smoked, still accepted certain things. And gradually those things have been decided, actually it's against Bible principles, so we're going to cut them out of our organisation. But if there was a magazine that's said a particular thing and I thought, oh, that's odd, then I'd have to go back to
prove it
Bible,
to yourself whether it's right.
I wouldn't take it as read.
No.
But then if someone else started coming along and said, "Oh, I've got different ideas in the congregation, and these are my ideas of this," then we'd have to be very careful.
I agree.
Prove whether it's right.
And prove
or
what they're saying is
right.
right. And there has been cases where a re-review of understanding has taken place.
It's good to do your own independent research.
That's right, and prove it
Makes
to
sense.
yourself whether it's right, or you think, no, I've found out that's not quite what.
I mean, have you done any research on your early history of Watchtower? Have you done any research on Charles Russell?
Yeah.
You know, and stuff.
Yeah, it's back as 1880.
And some of the prophecies, you know, the earlier
Well,
prophecies.
even some of those were dubious, weren't they? If you read the history, they had obviously misconceptions and ideas. Some of them believed they were going to heaven in 1914, which obviously didn't happen. They were unfortunately died of an old age, you know, a long time afterwards. So there has been theocratic understanding that as time's gone on, it's got revealed more and more. Some people have been impatient and not been willing to wait for changes to take place. You know, no, this is my idea, and we had one example: a person would stand out our halls with placards saying we kill children, and that's the teaching he went round.
Was he an ex-man? Was he an
He used to be an elder, I believe. But he had his own idea of what should be taught.
Right.
So he started taking pamphlets around, etc., which is free to do. We didn't stop him doing that. We just wouldn't associate with him. But I think one time he got violent, so then he was escorted away by police. So in that case, we have to protect the congregation from that sort of thing. But
Anyway, these colleagues, they're going to take over for us.
Okay, let's talk about it.
No, thank you for
Nice
approaching
to
us.
talk
Yeah.
to you.
Oh,
Nice to
what's
meet
your name again?
Steve.
Steve. Nice to meet you, Steve.
Morning.
Take care. So it's your guys' turn now.
Yeah, we're going to stand here now.
Okay, Pat.
Enjoy the rest of your morning.
Thank
Yeah,
you
nice
very
to
much.
see you both. Either see you this afternoon or tomorrow.
Okay.
Take care. Bye. Yeah. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
That's good.
What's your name?
My name's Pat. This is my daughter Lauren.
Oh, okay.
And did I hear your name, Steve?
Yeah.
Nice
We
to
just-
meet you, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Nice to meet you both. Can I offer you a drink?
That's all right, thank you. Yeah, it's very
That's good.
kind of you.
That's good.
Thank you. We haven't got cold yet.
Okay. I've
Are
done.
you off to Heidi's?
No. But I get you don't want to drink, so.
Yeah, so good. So you just said you was going to say I. Sorry, and I interrupted
I am
you.
quite familiar with your organisation. I did a study with your organisation back in the 80s in gospel. So I do know a little bit about your beliefs. I'm familiar with your beliefs. Okay.
Did you study, was it The Truth That Leads to
No,
Everlasting
I
Life?
studied a book. You Can Live Forever on Paradise
Yeah,
Earth.
that's the same one I did actually. Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
okay.
same one I did. It was
Yeah.
like a deep ready
Yeah.
coloured one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am quite familiar with your beliefs.
Yeah.
But over these recent years, I've been learning a lot of things via the internet about your organisation, and it concerns me. I'm not bothered with yourselves because I think like people like this, like Peter and Roger and yourselves, I respect you. I think that you're sincere people. You mean well. You're going by what you know to be the truth. Okay? So I'm not attacking you at all. But like I say, I am concerned for you because some of the things I'm learning on the internet are quite disturbing. And it seems to me that a lot of things are being hidden from you. I'm asking people, do they know about the Royal Commission? They don't know about the Royal Commission, what took place in Australia. Do you know about the Royal Commission?
Unless I know what it was, then I wouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know about it.
Yeah.
You don't know about it. All kinds of things which it seems like you're being kept very busy, which I can understand, you know, that always getting you to study the Watchtower and all these kinds of things, keeping your life very busy, but all the time you're doing that, you're not aware of what's going on. And there's loads of things, you know, you've only got to go to the internet to discover these things. They're all coming to light.
I think at the end of the day, each one has to make their own decision.
Yeah, sure.
As to there has to be an organisation here on the earth that's teaching the truth. So I suppose we have to make a decision as to which organisation we think is trying to teach the truth, trying to live by the truth. Obviously we can't live by it perfectly because we're imperfect people.
Yeah.
But that who, as a group, obviously there will be individuals, and there always has been, even back, you know, in the first century. You think of Judas Iscariot with Jesus Christ. He was one of Jesus' apostles. So I think the thing is that, you know, you will always get individuals who maybe don't do what they should do, and we're always warned ourselves about trying to lead a double life. How we may deceive brothers and sisters, but at the end of the day, Jehovah God sees all things, so we can never deceive him. So,
you can't deceive God.
Yeah, so the thing is, at the end of the day, if I was to expect that every single person who says they are part of Jehovah's organisation is actually living up to totally 100% of their dedication to God, I'd probably be not being realistic. I appreciate that people get disfellowshipped every year. I appreciate that sadly some people cover over things and it comes out later. I appreciate that goes on, but at the end of the day, there is not another organisation here on the earth that is an international organisation, that is preaching the good news of God's kingdom, that its members as a general, as a whole, are trying their best to do all the things that Jehovah God asks. And I suppose it's a bit like when some of the people that listened to Jesus back in the first century, when he started saying about, you know, he was like the bread, and they had to drink his, or eat his flesh and drink his blood, and things, they became confused. And many of them left because they said, we can't listen to this. And when he spoke to his disciples, he said, do you want to go too? And they said, where would we go to? And I would say exactly the same thing, because there is not another organisation here on the earth that is promoting Bible truth, that is trying to live according to Bible standards.
But this actually concerns me. That
I appreciate that goes on, but at the end of the day, there is not another organisation here on the earth that is an international organisation, that is preaching the good news of God's kingdom, that its members as a general, as a whole, are trying their best to do all the things that Jehovah God asks. And I suppose it's a bit like when some of the people that listened to Jesus back in the first century, when he started saying about, you know, he was like the bread, and they had to drink his, or eat his flesh and drink his blood, and things, they became confused. And many of them left because they said, we can't listen to this. And when he spoke to his disciples, he said, do you want to go too? And they said, where would we go to? And I would say exactly the same thing, because there is not another organisation here on the earth that is promoting Bible truth, that is trying to live according to Bible standards.
But this actually concerns me, that you're actually saying that, not you personally, but the leadership is saying we are God's #1 channel on this earth.
And Jesus did say
everyone else is an error. They're satanic. They're basically saying that, you know, all the churches, everyone else is satanic. We are God's #1 channel on earth.
And
but
Jesus did say though, he said, who would be the faithful and discreet slave, who would feed the domestic spiritually, food at the proper time. So the thing is, he didn't say there would be many channels, he did say there would only be one channel.
Yes.
And it's for each individual to decide who they think that channel is. And
I can agree with that.
you know, so
but don't you think that is a very bold claim on the part of the leadership to make that claim, to say that
I can't say what claims they've actually made in black and white because I haven't seen the black and white claims, but I certainly believe from the evidence that I have seen that they are the faithful and discreet slave.
It's
They
not-
are
yeah.
those ones, and so but that is my decision. Somebody else might make another
You see,
decision.
what concerns me is that over the years there's been a lot of inconsistencies. You know, like they made prophecies about the return of Jesus and Armageddon. If you go back to like the early history, like the 1880s, when Charles Russell, they made a lot of things, and they kept changing it. And over the years they've changed things. You know, they made prophecies about 1925, you know, and all these kinds of things. And then they say that, oh, well, the light gets brighter, and they keep changing.
Sorry.
And they changed it about the generation. You know, that they said that this generation will not.
Pass away.
Yeah, but like people did pass away, and so they like had the generation teaching changing.
And I think the thing is,